The modern history is full of events of great importance which shifted the policies of the most important states, or which made the hidden strategies of those states to become reality. In every book about international relations, especially if it is an introduction designed for students, it is stated that the main goal of this field of study is to analyze the reasons why war happens. For many years, two main theories were at the center of this field of study: realism and liberalism, but only one of them tried to explain the reasons why war happens, while the other tried to explain more how to avoid war from happening. Hans J. Morgenthau explained very well the presumptions of realism by defining the 6 principles of political realism. Realism assumes that the states are the principal actors in international relations, and that every state has many interests which are influencing their behavior on the political scene, especially because the international system is considered anarchic. Liberalism is criticizing the last assumption, considering that the international system should not be anarchic because there exists many international institutions and many international norms that try to model the state's behavior. Liberalism having at its center many important and moral concepts such as freedom, tolerance, and law, assumes that peace can be achieved by cooperation. So states declare that only through cooperation peace can be achieved. This is what we hear and listen in every speech of a very important political figure. This is the central idea. The problem with these declarations is that are followed by a number of many initiatives that are considered by other countries as a threat to their national interests, because these countries are taking into consideration the realist approach, considering that every nation is tempted to disguise their particular interests and actions in moral objectives of the universe. And this explanation becomes convincing only if we accept that all great powers think like this when they are not initiating their own cooperation initiatives. Yanis Varoufakis describes a phenomenon named by physicists as parallax. When we submerge half of a stick in water, it looks bent. The stick does not change, the angle does. He concludes that different viewpoints can all generate true observations, yet fail to unveil the basic truth about the phenomenon under study. The same thing happens when states analyze the same situation. When they want to expand their influence, they think in a liberal paradigm. But when they notice an initiative which is threatening their influence by other states who initiated that action, they are thinking according to realist approach. So the same situation, but different angles of view, a classical parallax in international relations. The United States displays the same strategic parallax. When Washington leads the agenda, it speaks liberalism, NATO, trade blocs, global institutions, open corridors. When Washington feels excluded or strategically eroded, it speaks realism. Borders, dominance, symmetry, spheres of influence, and strategic vulnerability. For America, the Western Hemisphere is not a region. It is the strategic perimeter. The Monroe Doctrine never disappeared. It only modernized its instruments. Any power blueprint that reshapes influence in Latin America, the Arctic, or North Atlantic without the United States becomes, for Washington, not cooperation, but competition. Arctic control equals missile and radar depth. Greenland hosts critical geography for early warning systems, ballistic tracking, and northern defense architecture. North Atlantic control equals trade artery security. 90% of the US-EU logistics still flows through the North Atlantic corridor. Territorial denial equals strategic dominance. If another power establishes military or economic permanence in Greenland, America loses strategic buffer, radar depth, and influence geometry over the Northern Hemisphere. Energy and rare minerals equal leverage preservation. Greenland holds vast reserves of critical minerals, rare earths, and Arctic energy routes, elements of future global leverage. If America loses table position, it does not answer with values, it answers with interests, force symmetry, and influence defense. And in 2026, the signs are visible again in Arctic diplomacy, in BRICS economic multipolarity, in Venezuela and canal logistics competition, and in northern military optics. Many states are acting according to liberalist or to realist paradigm depending on their current action. Attack or defense. If they want to expand their sphere of influence, they choose cooperation initiatives. But if they are not the initiators and they are not part of them, then these initiatives are threatening their national interests and they start to think in the realist approach. Power does not change its logic. Only the angle from which it is justified changes. This is the strategic parallax that all great powers display. If you want to understand power, change the angle, not the narrative. Read the signs before the crisis, not after the war. Please like and subscribe to our channel.